This lesson is all about writing expressions. So right now, you've always been given an expression or an equation. Now we're going to practice creating one based on a description. So in order to do that, let's keep a few things in mind. In order to use algebra to solve problems, we need to be able to translate English into math. So we need to be able to develop a mathematical expression to represent what we're saying in English. So 3 steps. Create a variable for the unknown amount. So figure out what the unknown is, assign a letter to it. Decide what is happening to that unknown amount. So read the question, decide, is it being increased, is it being decreased, is it being multiplied, is it being divided? You have to decide, and then based on that, you need to choose an operation to complete this action. So are you multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting? What are you doing? You got to decide what to do. So keep these things in mind. We need to have a variable, and we need to have an operation or several operations applied to that variable. So we're going to start off with some easier ones to practice with. We're going to write an expression to represent each sentence. Okay, so we're going to start off with a number increased by 25. So let's go through our process. What is the unknown? What's our variable? Well, it's this thing. It's a number. We don't know what the number is, so we're going to assign a variable to represent it. And proper form would be to define your variable. So you have to say what letter is representing what value. So I'm going to say, let n represent the number. Okay, it's increased by 25. Well, what does that mean? It's being increased. It's going up. We're adding 25. So my expression would be n plus 25. Okay, the next one, triple a number. Well, my unknown is this number. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to say let n represent the number again. What is triple? Triple means multiplied by 3. So my expression is going to be that number multiplied by 3, or 3n. 15 less than my height. What's the unknown? My height. So I'm going to use a nice letter to represent that. How about h for height? So let h represent my height. It's 15 less than my height. So 15 less than, well, we're subtracting 15. So it's 15 less than my height, so it's my height minus 15, or h minus 15. How about a number split into 4? Well, let n represent the number split into 4. What is that? Well, it's being cut into 4 pieces, so we're dividing. So the number is divided by 4, so n divided by 4, or n over 4. Now we're getting a little more tricky. 8 more than double the height. Okay, what's the unknown? It's the height. So let h represent the height. 8 more than, so it's plus 8, something plus 8. Double the height. Well, double, that's times 2. So it's 8 more than this. And this is 2h. So it's 8 more than 2h. So it's 2h plus 8. A quarter of my age 10 years from now. Well, my age is the thing I don't know, so that's my variable. Let's let a represent my age. My age 10 years from now. Well, that's just my age, a, plus 10. A quarter of that. Well, a quarter, we're just dividing by 4. So a quarter of my age 10 years from now would be a plus 10, that whole thing, divided by 4. All right, let's get a little more interesting here. Brenda is a plumber. She charges $35 to visit a job site. Her hourly rate is $43 per hour. Write an equation for her total cost, C. So I've already defined what C is. So to write an equation for her total cost, C, well, it's going to be C equals something. So now we have to figure out what C is equal to. Well, she charges $35 to visit a job site. So automatically, the cost is going to be $35. But then it says her hourly rate is $43 per hour. So on top of that $35 that she charges just for coming, she charges $43 per hour. Okay, well, how many hours is she working? We don't know. That's my unknown. So I'm going to have to make that into a variable. So let H represent the number of hours she works. So to calculate the cost, C is equal to the $35 just for coming out to the job site plus $43 for every hour she works. So my equation is going to be C equals 35 plus 43H. In a game show, the player begins with $1,000. They receive $125 for each correct answer and lose $250 for each wrong answer. Write an equation for their total amount A. Okay, so we're writing an equation for A, so A equals something. How is their amount calculated? Well, they're starting with $1,000. So A equals $1,000. They receive $125 for each correct answer. So their amount is going to increase by $125 for each correct answer. Let's let C represent the number of correct answers. So their amount is going to increase by 125 times however many correct answers they had. And they're going to lose $250 for each wrong answer. So their amount's going to decrease or subtract by 250 multiplied by the number of wrong answers. Let's let W represent the number of wrong answers. So their amount of money is $1,000 plus 125 times the number of correct answers minus 250 times the number of wrong answers. Brian is a car salesman. Each month, he earns $1,000. He also earns $200 for each car he sells. Write an equation for his total monthly pay, P. Okay, P equals something. Well, he gets $1,000, so P equals $1,000. He earns, so it gets added on. He earns $200 for each car he sells. We don't know how many cars he's selling, so that's a variable. Let C represent the number of cars he sells. So his pay is going to be $1,000 plus $200 for each car he sells, 200 times C. So P equals 1,000 plus 200C. Hopefully by now you are kind of getting the hang of it. When you need to create an equation or an expression on your own, you got to read through the question, figure out what your unknowns are, assign a variable for those, tell me what the variable represents, and then figure out what operations you're doing, adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing.